Uh, well, I think this is a very important first visit for Prime Minister Soudani with the Biden administration because for a long time, really, since the Obama administration through the Trump administration, the United States did not have an Iraq policy. It had a policy towards Iraq in the light of its policy for Iran. So I think it will be important for the Prime Minister and the President to arrive at some understandings about what an American policy towards Iraq as such looks like after the fight with ISIL. We have never seen the development of such a policy yet. I think it's very important, and it has the potential for being very fruitful. The question is, what will the Iraqi Prime Minister be able to deliver from an American perspective? What agreements can he come to with the United States that has the support of the parliament and the Iraqi political class in Baghdad? That's the question. There are many things that Iraq needs from the United States. There is still a strategic framework agreement between the United States and Iraq, and the Iraqis still need the training and intelligence cooperation with the United States. Let us remember that in 2011, when the United States withdrew, all training of military of the Iraqi military stopped, all intelligence cooperation stopped, and 3 years later, Iraq was 1/3 of Iraq was occupied by ISIL. Let us not forget that. And this is to say nothing of the investment that Iraq will need from the United States, the technology transfer that Iraq needs. Iraq may be cooperating now with China and Russia with respect to the oil sector in Iraq. But in terms of technology and in terms of protection of the environment, which is a crucial issue for Iraq, there is no substitute for Western and American technology. Yes, and the question you asked is has two components in it. One, you mentioned a federal Iraq. My hope is that the American administration will make it clear that a federal Iraq is a strong Iraq. That is to say, a harmony between Baghdad and Erbil is crucial to maintaining a strong Iraq. And by strong, I mean an Iraq that is united, that is a cohesive state that can guard its own borders, that does not allow foreign interference in its internal affairs and its foreign policy. A federal Iraq is essential for that, and to that end, I expect that the Biden administration will underline the need for Baghdad to resolve whatever disputes there may be with Erbil and the Kurdistan region of Iraq. The American president said that a rising tide lifts all boats. And that is true in a federal Iraq also. An Iraq that benefits from American investment, from Western investment, from a strengthening of the military and forces in Iraq, such as to be able to ensure that we are never again threatened by a group like ISIL. This is a benefit to every Iraqi, from al-Fao to the Kurdistan region, from al-Fao to Zakho. I hope so. This one trip will not, but I hope that the American administration will be engaged. When the Americans are engaged diplomatically with all of Iraq's political parties, including the leadership of the Kurdistan region of Iraq, as well as the political class in Baghdad. When the US is engaged diplomatically, the Iraqis are more likely to be able to resolve some of their disputes. I think it is vital for Baghdad and Erbil to come to agreements. I think um, Baghdad, it seems to me, is trying to assert control over Erbil in ways that are not consistent with the Iraqi constitution. On the other hand, there are some constitutional provisions that the Kurdistan region of Iraq is not now in compliance with. Everyone in Iraq is not in compliance with the constitution. It is the constitution we have for all of its flaws. It is the constitution we have. And if we come to abide by the constitution, all the political parties, that creates a stronger union of a federated Iraq. And my hope is that this process can at least begin with this trip. I don't expect miracles simply from one visit to Washington, however. It is vital. A stable, uh, a stable Kurdistan region of Iraq is absolutely indispensable to a stable, economically viable Iraq. Full stop. Baghdad and Erbil need one another. They need to realize that one is not superior to the other. The two must work together for the economic stability and vitality of the country and for the future of all Iraqis. And I really do hope that the American administration will take this issue up, understanding there are delicacies, it's an internal matter. Nevertheless, in private, I hope the American administration will take this issue up with the Iraqi Prime Minister this week. That's an excellent question. That depends partly on the Iraqis. We have been in a situation over the past months, perhaps longer, where pro-Iran militias in Iraq have been attempting to upset the foreign policy of the state of Iraq, of the Republic of Iraq, in terms of its relationship with the United States. So the question for the Iraqis to decide first, before we reach your question, is Iraq, is the Iraqi government, is the Baghdad government willing to be independent from Iran and to impose its own policy? Impose is the wrong word, is whether the government in Baghdad will execute its own foreign policy rather than allowing groups that are executing another state's foreign policy within Iraq to continue to frustrate that. If Iraq can make a decision that it is an independent state and is willing to act as an independent state in the Middle East, in the Northern Gulf region, independent of other states, it can become an invaluable ally to the United States. I hope that is the decision that the Iraqis have taken. I hope this is what Sudani's visit means. Iraq must have good relations with all of its neighbors, including Iran, Turkey, and Saudi Arabia, but it must also have its own independent foreign policy.